special effects are just a tool, a means of telling a story. People have a tendency to confuse them as an end to themselves. A special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring no one. I guess the director is the star for this one. All right, so what to say about a historical situation turned into a film? Didn't like it. Want to like this movie. Definitely want to have enjoyed this movie, but I think this movie falls short in so many ways that it is not... I'm just not going to recommend it right off the bat. So let's talk about why I didn't like Dunkirk. First thing wrong with this movie, starring no one. There are no characters to get into this film. Now, I get what the film is going for. We're not trying to focus on a main character. This isn't like Titanic, where the disaster is just a backdrop. But you know what? That movie worked, and this one doesn't. And not having a lead character or any kind of lead roles or people to get attached to, it's kind of a big problem, I think, with this movie. So number two, along the whole character and starring and actor-wise, the problem would be you got 2/3 of a movie here. Now, I found out this movie was like 1 hour and 47 minutes. I was like, that's amazing. He managed to make what Christopher Nolan normally turns into these 2 hour and 40-minute just... You know, there are, like you wonder at the end of Interstellar why they didn't cut 30 minutes out of the movie. Dark Knight Rises has got to be the worst as far as we need to trim this movie into something a little more coherent, and they don't do anything with it. So this movie, I found out it's 1 hour 47 minutes. Great. Nice in and out of the theater. Don't get a lot of under 2 hour movies in the summer. So I go and then I realize, oh yeah, the third of the movie, maybe the first 20 or 30 minutes of the movie, we could have spent meeting all these characters, getting to know them a little bit, why they are where they are, a little bit of their plight, so that, when some kid gets shot later on, I actually give a shit. So let's be positive for a little bit. The cinematography of this movie, gorgeous. I can't tell what's CG and what's not CG. Those planes look so goddamn real, those boats look real, the people jumping off of them. Not to take anything away from the realism of this movie, but once again, I'm watching dramatic scenes unfold in front of me, and with no one to anchor myself to, in a little boating joke.
A special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
Also, I'm American, and we weren't in the war at this point, so... You know how much we learn about Dunkirk here in the United States? Again, none. I didn't know anything about this movie until I heard it, and was like, oh wow, 400,000, I can't wait to see how that happens. And you really don't get to see how that happens because we're trying to follow a few characters here, but we're really not getting through, and just more disappointed than I think I should be at the end of this movie. So Nolan tries to do something really interesting here with time, or at least I think he does. And the reason I say think and not know that he does is because if it was supposed to be a time thing, then we should have gotten back around to that. We're introduced in the beginning of this movie to the mole. It says 1 week. Then we're introduced to the boating person, which is Mark Rylance, and it's like 1 day. And then we're introduced to Tom Hardy and the other pilot who are trying to protect them throughout this entire time, and we're given 1 hour. You eventually start to see that, oh, okay, so this maybe happened over the week, this maybe happened over the hour, this maybe happened over the day, and it seems like, oh wow, this thing, they're on deck. We are teeing off here to have a wonderful like time lapse, time jump adventure where people's paths are going to kind of cross at different parts in the movie. This is going to be really interesting. Yeah, and then they don't really do anything with that. In fact, this movie had me up until the first time we get to see a scene from another person's perspective. And you're like, well, wait a second. Well, how is he there if the other person is on this boat, or if this is like the second day this has been going on? So there's just, I am sure that there is a documentary that you can watch about this right now that is more compelling and more well-told, and you'll understand what the hell actually happened at the end of it. So sure, I was entertained watching beautifully directed, well-lit scenes that are interesting. Never seen scenes inside of a boat with bullets coming into it before. The dogfighting looked really cool. Watching people die on a boat sinking, like I want to say, oh, that was really cool, man, but it's depressing. But it really just doesn't lead you or get you anywhere. So, you might have a good time with this. This is a good, like, grab your 60-year-old father and drag him. There were a lot of old people in the theater. They might enjoy this movie, but the 7- and 8-year-old kids that their parents dragged them to go see this movie, 3 or 4 of them on the way out the door. Daddy, that was boring. And I'm like, totally, kid. Thank you, everybody, for watching again and my Dunkirk review. I didn't like this or Wonder Woman now, so I guess me and Rotten Tomatoes fucking hate each other. So if you like this and you want to see more videos about me hating on summer movies, subscribe to me in the little hole here. I'm going to try to guesstimate where it is and watch my other content. Please watch the movie Blind Spot that's in this one. It's not a lot of people are watching, and I think you guys will really like it. It's actually the best thing I've ever filmed and produced, so, you know, enjoy it. Thank you for watching.